Good morning, everybody. How are you all going today? Just having a little trouble with Facebook this morning, so hopefully you can hear me and everybody is coming on board. So my name is Johnita Francis. I am the host for the Warrior Chronicles. This is a series of help, resource, a community of supporting each other through our own personal journeys and however that looks for yourself. This week we are covering off how to listen to our souls, and I do have some oracle cards that I will be pulling throughout the reading just to give us a bit of guidance on what we should be doing. I always find that in these group situations, many of us are going through similar things, kind of like a frequency going out, so the frequency comes back in. So like attracts like, all those little things that we hear about over our lifetime, what you think about, you bring about, all that sort of stuff. So people will be drawn to one another when we're going through similar scenarios and similar situations, and also similar paths. So hi, how are you ladies? Nice to see you both. So this morning I thought we'll cover off how to listen to our souls. What does that look like? Now, my soul is very different from your soul, clearly. The very fact about astrology says that, you know, there's billions of different combinations of planetary aspects and where our natal charts sit, where our relocation charts sit. So we are not just one in a million people, we are one in billions of people. So that's pretty, you know, impressive when we think about it like that. There are no two souls that are identical. Even our twin flames, I'm married to my twin flame. I'm one of the very fortunate people to have found him, and he stopped and asked for directions. So thankfully he did that, and he has me as well. So, but we're very, very similar. And a lot of people thought right in the beginning that we were almost like brother and sister because we're so much in alignment. You know, and he's a lovely person, which kind of means by, in effect, that I'm a lovely person. So you do the work and you attract what you put out. So, but as much as we are alike, we're not identical. The twin flames are not identical. We're two very different people. We've come together at the point in our lives where we can support one another on the next stage, the leveling up stage of who we are as individuals and how we're going to support each other as a couple and as a composite or third energy. So that's how it looks. So, listening to our souls, he's at the window pulling faces at me. That's very supportive, isn't it? Hopefully you find your clown and you get to marry him. So how to listen to our souls. It's going to be an individual journey for everybody. There's just no two ways about it. You can find different books, you can read different things, you can watch YouTube channels, you can watch this channel. Your soul is so individual that your journey will be individual. You'll get the me too. Oh yes, that happens to me. This is how I think. You'll get the similarities and the shared views and the shared experiences. And really it's about that sense of vulnerability and how we go about saying, okay, you went through this, how did you do it? You don't have to necessarily take it all on. And I'll share a bit of a story about myself so you have a greater understanding of what I mean. But there could be something in that little conversation that you go, oh, hang on a minute. There's something in this for me. And it could be something as simple as a sentence, a statement, how you react. Someone said to me ages ago about something and I went, what? And the fact that I went, what? Said to me, okay, well, that pissed me off. So now I need to work out why it pissed me off, because that person meant her comment in the sweetest of manners. There was nothing awful about it. There was no ill intent. She actually said it from a place of love. It was my reaction that made me think, well, there's something in this for me, because this, for her to be all those things that I thought, you know, cruel, mean, why would you say that? Why would you do that? Why would you say that to me of all people? My reaction was the biggest thing, not the fact that she said it. So she, in effect, pushed me on a slightly different path, because then I had to go and go, okay, check myself. What have I got to learn from this? Why was my reaction? What did I have to gain from listening to her any further? So I parked my ego, because that's what happens. Your ego comes up and your defense mechanisms go up and you think you're an idiot. What would you know about me? You don't know nothing about me, all that sort of stuff. So park that just for a minute and think about, is this an opportunity to learn? And it's not always going to be an opportunity to learn. And perhaps that person that's saying those things to you has got a bit of an agenda going on, and they want to undermine you or make you feel terrible. There's always going to be that people. But what I see every opportunity when I'm faced with something like this is an opportunity for me to go, okay, what do I need to do with this information? Why was my reaction like this? Why did I get angry? Why did I get defensive? Why did I get hurt? Is there something in this that I need to learn about me that would help this situation so I can deal with it better? Or is it a past hurt that I don't even realize is still lingering, that I haven't worked my way through? And if I perhaps work my way through it, it won't have that lasting effect on me anymore. So there's lots of things going on there when someone says something, but I'm not so worried about, good morning everybody that's watching, I'm not so worried about what people are saying to me, because I care, but I don't care. It's not going to, I've done a tremendous amount of work on myself, and anybody that's done 5 minutes worth of work, 50 years worth of work will know that the more you get comfortable with yourself and the more you understand yourself, the less people are going to sway you off that. You'll still get thrown a spanner. I mean, I've been looking at myself since I was very, very young. My first aha epiphany moment was when I was about 15 and a bit, and I moved out of home the day I turned 16. So, and I'm in my almost mid 40s. So you just get those moments where you just think, okay, there's something else going on here. So little story I can share with you. I had okay, we're talking about listening to our souls, okay, and what that looks like and what the scenarios are to leading up to that. I had a very abusive childhood. Look at that. See that? See that defense mechanism? That was me going, I need to be careful here. I need to make sure I'm not too vulnerable. I wrapped myself up. I have to get through that. So there's something I'm working on as well. So no one's perfect, okay? The best we can do is be better versions of ourselves tomorrow, or a better version of ourselves this afternoon. What I will gain from sharing my story with you and from listening to your stories, and what we will do along the way with the Warrior Chronicles, it'll take away some of those labels, it'll take away some of those layers, it'll strip us back a little bit, and it'll allow us to go, it's okay to feel like this. So back onto my story, because I've got spirit talking to me and they will chuck me off my path. You watch. They're just buggers like that. They think it's hilarious. But what happened was I had an abusive childhood. So abusive childhood, not foster care, okay? That would have been heaven. But pretty much anything else you could think about was bored about, honestly. So then I grew up thinking that was what life was, that you get abused and you yell and you scream and you swear and you use violence to get what you want. And if you've seen my YouTube channel, The Warrior Movement, then you will perhaps be familiar with my video on me finding what it was that I needed to do for me so I didn't become an abuser. So my parents are narcissists 101, plus about 50 other issues that they perhaps have not worked through. And I'm not blaming them, because I'm responsible for my own actions and what I do with what I was dealt now. Okay, so I'm smart enough to know it's not their fault. And there's ancestral things that come through for them that they needed to deal with as well. But that's okay. That's them. They can do what they like in their lives. So I don't have any contact with them for very good reason. That's not sad. Please don't feel sad. I'm a much happier, more stable, loving person when I'm not around that sort of negativity. So fast forward from childhood, paint all the pictures that you need to paint and you'll get a really good idea. And we can talk about it later in the series when I'm not wrapping myself up in protection. I actually dated a boy from 10 years of age. I first laid eyes on him and I was head over heels in love right through till I was 26. I was almost 27 before I kissed another boy. But he had some issues of his own, and he never always had those issues, okay? He just got onto drugs, and I will never, ever, ever be an advocate for marijuana, ever, because that for him was the start of some really violent episodes. So he started beating me, lying, cheating, abusing, swearing, all those things that I grew up with, I thought were normal, so I just accepted them. And one day I went off to a counsellor because apparently I had anger issues and I wasn't coping with those anger issues. Now, strangely enough, I wasn't angry with anyone else other than 3 people that were in my life. So I went to the doctors and I said, okay, I need some help. He said, go off to a counsellor. Off I toddled off to a counsellor. The counsellor said to me, you are in a constant state of domestic violence cycle, which means you get beaten, they say sorry, everything's cool, then it escalates, then you get beaten and you just go round and round and round in circles. And if you've ever been in a situation like that, I'm sure you will be able to relate to that cycle of things where everything's just so loving and they're apologetic, I'll never do it again, then bang, they do it again. So I copped this from my parents, I've copped it from my first partner. I was sitting out the front of the doctor's surgery because the counsellor said to me, you need to go and get away from these people. Now, I hadn't even kissed another boy. So how do you get away from these people that are so onto you all the time? Like, you don't know who you are. You don't have any friends. You're completely isolated. The people that you should be able to turn to in these situations were your parents, and they were just bad. I had absolutely no one. So I'm sitting out the front of the chemist because now I have a script in my hand for antidepressants, okay? Now, I wasn't depressed. I was not depressed. I was sad and I was crying because I had, this is as good as it gets, to quote Jack Nicholson. I'm thinking to myself, this can't be life. I've seen other people. I've been to people's houses. As children, we weren't allowed to go to other people's houses and people weren't allowed to come to ours. So I couldn't really, it wasn't really till high school that I started seeing other families and how other families interacted, and they didn't interact like those people that I lived with. So I was trying to work out what this is all about. And when I'm sitting out the front of the chemist, there I go again. See that? It's just a conscious, it's a subconscious. That's a scary part of my story, and I don't want to share it, but I have to, because I have to be brave. So it helps you to be brave and share your story and move through the discomfort and know that you're worth more. I'm sitting out in front of the chemist. It is a timber bench, and there was a shop. The chemist is on this side, and the shop fitting, a brand new store was going in this side, and there was a carpenter in there, and he was doing his things, and his name was Owen. Now, I will never, ever, ever forget any detail of the next 15 minutes of this interaction with this one man for as long as I live. I reckon I could probably get dementia at 99 years of age and I'll still remember word for word what happened on this day. I'm sitting there, I'm crying, there's snot, there's dribble, it's a mess. It is a mess. I do not want to go and get this script filled for antidepressants. I'm not depressed. I'm just surrounded by shit. How do you grow? How do you reach your potential? How do you understand who you are if you're already deaf, dumb? I have a hearing loss if you haven't already picked up my accent. But we'll get to that later because there's a whole other story about that too. I'm deaf, stupid, never amount to anything. I'm ugly. My first partner said to someone once, oh, she's not attractive, but she's a nice person. I heard that. You name it. I copped it from all these people. So I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, this is like, I'm not depressed. I'm just seriously surrounded by shit. How do I stop the shit? I went to the doctors, a GP, to ask him, how do I stop the shit? He gave me a tablet. That just numbs me to the shit. It doesn't stop the shit. It numbs me to it. So okay, I'm not getting the script filled. I need to come up with another plan. This man, Owen, walks out. He sits down next to me. He allows me my space. He's not creepy. It is the most calm person I've ever met in my life. And I don't trust humans at all at this stage, okay? Humans are horrible, cruel people. I allowed him probably within 3 or 4 inches of me. And he let me cry it out, and then he said to me, what's going on? And I told him. He sat there and listened to every word I said. He didn't try to be the shoulder to cry on. He didn't try to maneuver me because I was vulnerable. Nothing. That man kept a beautiful, comfortable distance. And when I finished and I got it all out, I turned to him and said, is this it? Is this what life is all about? And he said to me, you have all the makings to be an extraordinary person. I have all the makings to be an extraordinary person. And I'm sitting there. My eyes stopped filling up with tears. My heart, I swear, stopped beating. Somebody pressed pause on the world, and I re-listened to the words in my head. And I went, fuck it. That's it. I'm out. I went back to the house that I was living in. I packed a little suitcase. It cost me, I think, $2.99 or something ridiculous from a shop up in Harvey Bay called Cheap as Chips. It's like a $2 store. And I had 2 of those, sorry. I packed them. I had clothes for an interview, clothes to sleep in, clothes to just relax in, toothbrush, toothpaste, 2 pairs of undies, 2 bras. I said to my partner at the time, I need a holiday. I haven't had a holiday at all. I just need a break. I just need just a couple of days. You're right. I'm losing it. I'm a mental case. I'm fat. I'm ugly. I've got nothing to offer the world. I'm just going to go away and start to accept these horrible things about myself. Give me 5 days. I'll be back. He's still waiting for me to come back. I never went back. I stayed in backpacker hostels for 12 months. I got all my stuff stolen because I was so naive that I didn't realize that if you buy food and you leave it in your allocated bench at the backpacker, someone takes it. I didn't have a clue. He had paid private investigators to find me. He had death threats. Oh my God, it was an awful time of my life. But I stayed in backpacker hostels because I worked out, once you don't leave your food on the cabinet, that if you stay in backpacker hostels, you don't have to have any utilities in your name. If you don't have any utilities in your name, it's harder for people to find you. I went into hiding. And after a couple of days, I thought, right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to go back. Day 5, I've got this plane ticket to go back to Harvey Bay. I'm not going. And all this anxiety started screaming through my body. What do I do? What do I do? I can't go. He's going to kill me. He'd already threatened my life. He'd already had me followed. I don't know what to do. I can't go back. So I decided that was it. I'm going to end it because this is what life is. I'm positive I was smart. I'm an old soul, okay? I'd like to think I'm not stupid. I made some stupid choices in my life that led to some great lessons, but I don't think I'm stupid. So I walked down the beach. It was Froggies at Coolangatta. So if you've ever been there, it's a beautiful spot. And that's where I was going to end it all. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to walk into the ocean and I'm not going to turn around. I'm not going to come back out. Now, I thought that was pretty good because Froggies at that point had some red flags a little bit further up the beach that wouldn't have got to me in time. So I'm walking down the path and I said to the universe, right, universe, you've got to give me one, this is it. How you answer me this time is how you're going to set me up for the next 5 minutes of my life. However long it takes, 5 minutes, this is what you've got. I'm walking along the footpath and I'm heading towards, so Froggies is at like right on the border, Tweed Head, Coolangatta, and I'm walking towards Coolangatta. And I've got tears. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm frightened. I'm doomed if I do. I'm doomed if I don't. I don't want to live like this. And I said to the universe, right, show me. What is it I'm supposed to be doing right now? And I looked up to the sky and there was someone had stuck a bright yellow smiley face on a walking path sign. And it said, don't worry, be happy. Now, if you haven't already worked out, I've coined the term fuck it. So you go through the fuck it stage in your life. And I thought, fuck it. I'm going to not worry. I'm going to be happy. So instead of walking that way to the ocean, I walked that way to the pub. I had about $10 to my name. There was a fight on, and I can't remember the fight that was playing, like a boxing match fight. And I sat down at this table, and there was a whole bunch of people at the next couple of tables over. And I sat down by myself, and I thought, I have a beer. I'm going to not worry that it's my last $10. I'm just going to watch the fight, and then I'm going to work out what is the next one step I'm going to take in my life. Because I'm not going back to that, and there's got to be more. And damn it, I am an extraordinary person, and I'm going to do extraordinary things. So I look across, and there's this young fella there who looked straight at my eyeballs, smiled at me, came straight over, and he said, I'm Thomas. Who are you? I told him who I was. He said, where are your friends? I said, I don't have any. I was 26 years of age, and I had nobody. And Thomas says, well, I'm 18. It's my 18th birthday. You can't sit here by yourself. We're coming over to sit with you. So I didn't have to go to his group. He bought everybody. Now, Thomas grew up in Tweed Heads, right? So he knows bloody everybody. And if he doesn't know them, his father, who owned like 5 Specsavers stores, he knew the rest of the people. Thomas picked up his entire group of friends and brought them over to my table. Everybody introduced themselves. I had the best fun. I was dancing that night. I got so drunk. I can't believe how drunk I got. I had the best fun. Thomas was my friend for over 18 months. He stood by me no matter what to get back on my feet. He helped me move into his house because backpackers were really hard. You couldn't trust what was going on there. So I had my own room at his parents' house right on the Tweed River. I got a job. I just got on my feet so fast because one person said to me, "You've got all the makings to be an extraordinary person." Owen bumped me. I went. Thomas bumped me. His 30+ friends bumped me. I could not go anywhere by myself without somebody with me who was able to help me, guide me, show me the way, teach me the quickest way to get to work so I didn't have to go down the highway. I could do the back streets. I had everybody on my side to help me through that dilemma. I didn't even have a cousin I could talk to. I had nobody. I couldn't trust a damn living soul. I had spirit. I've always had spirit. And I had Thomas and his friends. And if it wasn't for me sitting out the front of that chemist that one day, crying my eyes out, and if it wasn't for Owen saying those little tiny sentences to me. Now, Owen probably gone on with his life, hadn't given a second thought. He might have said that to every single female. That might have been his pickup line, and I was just in a different state of mind, so I didn't see it. But who knows? I don't care. But I will never forget Owen, and I will never forget what he did for me that one day that I needed to hear that this is not as good as it gets, and there are so much better things out there. So I wanted to do my own little Owen thing. I want to be able to propel people onto their path and help them to find what it is that their soul should be doing, how to listen to our soul. Now, if I had have sat there or walked straight into that chemist and accepted the fact that this is what life is and I need to change my perception and I need to lower my standards and I need to get used to the fact that my partner is going to get drunk, do drugs and beat the crap out of me and he's going to root everything that moves because that's what Alfie was doing, I could accept all of that, or I could say, no, that is enough and I'm not going to live like this anymore and I'm going to do something else. And that is empowerment 101. I've gone leaps and bounds. Yeah, okay, the next partner I got was a shithead. So what? I was in a learning phase. We're allowed to do that. I mean, hands up everybody who's had more than one idiot boyfriend. But it's what we do with those lessons and how we look at it. I can say I went through a man-hating stage because by this time I had 3 for 3 and they're all different abusers in different ways. So physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, and the last one used to give me the silent treatment if I didn't do what I was told. He'd just ignore me for, I'm not talking an hour or so, I'm talking days, weeks on end, like 10 days straight. He didn't talk to me once because I didn't do what I was told. I did something else. Heaven forbid, an adult doing that. There I go. I had to do that again. Check yourself. So shortly after that, number 3, I thought, okay, all men are liars. Got to sing an All Men Are Liars song, made up a rap about how crappy men were. And then I thought, I really want a person in my relationship. I want to have a relationship. I've got a lot of love to give, but I need to work out why I keep attracting idiots. So I'm what you think about, you bring about. There must be something in me that I need to look at on a deeper level so I'm not attracting these same sorts of people. Because I attracted abusers. Now, I grew up in an abusive environment. You name it, they did it. My story is horrific. But I didn't want to keep attracting abusers. That's not who I am. So I know I'm empathic, and empaths quite often are a huge, big magnetic pull for narcissists, and I get that. And I don't want to be a hard person. I don't want to not be who I am at my core, but I want to be in a safe environment so I'm able to explore my vulnerability and be able to be a girl and not have to be tough and not have to be aggressive so people back off so I don't feel weak and vulnerable. And that was my coping mechanism for years. So I toddled, and I spoke to a man called Peter Whitewood, who is an astrotherapist, and I have since adopted him as my dad because the man is just, he drives me crazy. He really does. He drives me crazy sometimes because I'm not used to having a father figure. So when he tries to do the father stuff, I just go, oh my God, really? But that's me having to check myself. I'm not used to having a dad. Anybody else would go, oh my God, he's so loving, he's so caring. I can't believe that even though you met him in your late 30s, he's just such a father straight away. Like he's totally brought you in under his wing. So I get all of that. So it's me having to check myself and getting used to having a parent that cares. So after I met him, we went through an astrophysics, or 7 astrotherapy sessions where we worked with all of the planetary placements. So in my first series, the Warrior Chronicles, last week, if you can get a chance to have a look, do so. We actually talked about Snow White and the 7 dwarfs. Well, you being Snow White, the 7 dwarfs are your 7 sub-personalities which make up your chart. So we worked on my 7 dwarfs, my 7 sub-personalities. And we took out some negative conditioning. So all men are liars, all men are yetis, all men are out for one thing, all men, all men, all men. And we replaced it with not all men are the same. Not all men are the same. What am I doing to attract those people? What I was doing with my coping mechanism. I'm going to be aggressive towards you because I'm worried that you're going to hurt me. I was attracting aggressive people. I wasn't an abusive person, but I was aggressive because I was protecting myself. So when you protect yourself, some people cry and then other people back off because they don't know what to do when you're crying. Some people get aggressive because people back off because they don't know what to do when someone's being aggressive. So different people have different coping mechanisms. So I was inadvertently, I was protecting myself, but inadvertently I was attracting people that were aggressive. And how people are aggressive is by abuse. And abuse is emotional, financial, physical, sexual, all sorts of things. So that's what they do. That's how they get their control. So I thought, okay, I've got 2 choices. I can suck it up and realize that I'm 80% of the problem here. I mean, let's be fair. I'm 80% of the problem. Or I can just keep attracting abusers. I mean, I know that it's better the devil you know. Remember that saying? I know what they're capable of. I know how to kind of protect myself because I've had to do it all my life. And I thought, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be like that. So again, listen to my soul. Off I toddle, do these sessions, come back out the other side. I finished doing those sessions in about April of 2014. I met my darling husband on the 28th of May 2014 was our first date. And I attracted, he is not a Yeti, he's a wolf. And I'll teach you about Yetis and wolves later because Yetis cannot be tamed, but wolves can by a certain handler. And it's not saying that you're handling that person, it's because the wild streak in them, they're still wild, they're still the wolf, they're still all those beautiful things that attract you, but they're not biting, they're not abusive, they're not controlling, they challenge you in a healthy manner, not in a poor manner. So that's what that's all about. So listening to your souls. And being able to attract the right person and get the right people in your life, and not just an intimate partner, but any sort of relationship whatsoever. So that's where we're at with listening to your souls, and also spirits chatting away. So I'm just going to have a look at the comment because there's a few questions in here by the sounds of things. Oh, Paula. Good morning, everybody. Surrounded by people, but are so alone. Absolutely. Oh, Sarah's watching. Narcissist. I know. And Paula's popped in here. They just all give you tablets. I know, but you know what? And look, I want to make sure that you understand that sometimes tablets are the only solution, okay? Some people are just struggling, and there is always going to be a place for professional understanding of where each person is and being able to seek help in whatever form that is. So medicine is sometimes the only way. I get that, totally get that. Not saying drop all your medication and go off on your spiritual path and everything will be fine, because it's not as easy as that. We are very individual and we have to look at it from an individual point of view. But I just think that for me, tablets was not the answer. I was not depressed. I was going to work. I didn't want to shut out the world. I just had nobody in the world. So I knew enough about who I was to understand that I needed to do something to change this. I could stay the way I was and just take tablets to be numb to what was going on and to be able to cope with what was going on. But that's enabling their abuse. I mean, we're talking about 3 people that couldn't even have a conversation without putting you down and thinking it was funny. Who does that? I didn't want to be like that. I did not want to have children in an environment like that. There's just no way. I was stuck growing up with these people. There's no way I would voluntarily take a child into that style of dysfunction. So I knew tablets wasn't the right thing for me, and it's not always the right thing for everybody, and in some cases we definitely need them. But I think it's a band-aid fix too. So the tablets is it's not dealing with the cause and the root, and the root of the issue is, you know, shonky childhood, abusive relationships, molestation, raping, lots of things. And if we can work through those emotions instead of sucking them down and being made feel guilty and ashamed because we went through those things, then we might not have to have the need for as many medications and as many medicinal interruptions as well. So, you know, if you get to the point where you're working through all those layers and all those heart walls and emotional traumas and post-traumatic stress disorders and all those depression, and you're working through bringing these emotion blockages up to the surface and working through them and understanding and forgiving yourself, and because we have a lot of anger towards ourselves, why did it just happen to me? And all those things that come with it. So we can let go of those and accept them, and accept that sometimes things just happen, and it's shitty, but things just happen. I mean, I could sit here right now and not be talking to you, and just, you know, keep all of my horrific stories to myself, or I can share them in the hope that you will see that it's okay, that sometimes we just go through things and there's nothing we can do about it other than not allow it to consume us for the rest of our lives. And that's where true empowerment comes from. If you've ever had a chance to watch some, you know, some really cool mediums and psychics and healers, their stories are horrific. Some of the stuff they've gone through, they've learned from experience. That empathy that they have is because they've been through similar things themselves. So that's where it's all at. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh, I'm not being able to, it's not scrolling. Trees. I'm over in Sydney, but we do messenger and video readings for all over the world. So that's we can do that if you like. I'm just trying to work out why Facebook is not scrolling for me. Belinda, absolutely. I'm just going to flip to Belinda for a little while. She's popped up here. It's even possible when you have a young child, because I would so do this. Absolutely. That's the more important time. Children are in a theta state of mind, and that is they absorb everything. Even when they're tuned out watching Humphrey v. Bear, they're still receptive to stuff. It's when they're learning up to 7, 8 years of age, they're actually subconscious is listening. All their little spidey senses are going off, and their subconscious is picking up all these little things. So the information that a child takes in between 1 and 7 to 8 years of age, it's just phenomenal, and it can often set them up for the rest of their lives because their subconscious replays the same tape over and over and over and over. So your child, even if your child, a wee little tiny dot or up to 7 or 8 years of age, is already absorbing all of these energies and is setting up their subconscious tape. I busted my son's father cheating on me when he was 2 years of age. That was it. Separate room. I stayed there for probably another 15 or so months, in a separate room away. That was it, the end of the marriage. I told him if he cheated on me, I was out. My first thing when I busted him was, did you think I was joking? There were my boundaries, to be honest, and have integrity and keep your doodle in your pants or I'm out. He thought I was joking, clearly, because he did it. So absolutely, spiritual growth and spiritual awareness and being able to empower yourself is absolutely possible when you have one child, multiple children, because you look at them for inspiration and motivation. They're taking all their cues on who they're going to be as an adult from you right now. Whether you're aware of that or not, or whether they're actually consciously observing it or not, is irrelevant. It's all going in there. It's all staying in there. Post-hypnotic suggestions are things that happen to us when we're children. So I got called fat all the time when I was little. And I've got maybe 2 or 3 photos of when I was little. I was skinny as a bloody rake. I looked like I didn't eat. So I'm not really sure why I was told I was fat all the time. It doesn't really make any sense. But I grew up thinking I'm just a stocky kid. And I stayed in that stocky state of mind because somebody told me I was fat constantly. And I look back at photos, I think, how the hell was I fat? Like I was at 52 kilos all the way through my 20s. What the hell? That's not fat. That's bloody scrawny. So post-hypnotic suggestions happen when you're little kids. And they could be negative or positive in various different ways. Psychic traumas are when we have 2 different emotions at the same time. So, okay, I'll give you an example because psychic trauma, if you haven't come across it before, is a little bit tricky to get your head around. Just say, for example, okay, I was an A+ student, but it was never ever good enough. So as excited as what I was, because I was kicking these goals and I was top of my class and I was getting all my math answers, whatever the subject was, I was top of the class. And I had a level of excitement around being proud of myself because, remember, I was deaf, fat, stupid, ugly, blah, blah, blah. So whenever I had a small win, I would be overly excited. Like, I just loved it. And then I'll take that information home. I'll take my report card home. And that excitement that you associate with a happy emotion, like excitement's a good thing, okay? You're excited about something. It's like pumped. I had excitement with a negative conditioning because all of the times that I was excited about something, even when we went to Dream World once, I got excited about it. What are you so excited for? I'm like, so, you know, oh, you got an A+, you should have got an A++. So there's always a negative conditioning with my excitement. So I associated excitement with something terrible. So a psychic trauma is when you get 2 opposing or 2 emotions happening at the same time and they have a positive and a negative or 2 negatives and it's just an overload and your body goes, I'm not really sure what to do here. I can't let go of it. So a lot of rape victims will have psychic traumas because they have multiple emotions coming in at the same time and they could be adrenaline pumping. Now your adrenaline pumping could be a great activity or a really scary activity. So your body gets confused and then it traps the emotion and you hang on to that and you don't know what to do. That's what a psychic trauma is. So this is what happens, you know, for people, and you need to be able to work through those sorts of things and let them go. So now's the time for you, even though, Belinda, you've got a little person, to really work on your spiritual awareness and spiritual growth, because the more you do that, the more you understand yourself. The more you understand yourself, the more you empower yourself. The more you empower yourself, the less likely you are to take shit from anybody else. Do as you will, harm none, but take no shit. That is the rule of thumb, people. Let's see what else we can do. My Facebook is not scrolling. It's really quite annoying. Thanks, Anne. Paula, we're not giving up. Check your emails, my love. Rachel, yeah, exactly. Rachel, if I can have a look on YouTube at the Warrior Movement, and there's a couple of videos there in particular you might be interested in. One of them is boundaries and fear. So, and vulnerability is probably the third one to have a look at, but boundaries in particular is what you need to have a look at. I would strongly what you need to have a look at. You can do whatever you like, really. That's me being bossy. But if you have a look at that one in particular, it'll teach you about boundaries and where I came from in my boundaries. I thought that because if you use violence growing up, you got what you want. So I thought if I used violence, I would get what I want to, because I didn't have any other coping mechanisms. And then I learned, well, that's not the right thing to do. And then I actually talk about what I did through each of my relationships and those aha moments myself where I thought, this is not what we want. This is not what life is all about. So check those out. Okay. Right. Paula, I have given you an email, my love. Can you please have a look at that and see how that's going? And we might pull some cards. Who would like? Coming to the end of the session, we'll have a look at some oracle cards. Now, some of the cards I remember where they're from. Most of the time I chuck the box and the book out and I just do it intuitively. So so they very rarely actually write on the card what they are. Sometimes they have little tiny things, like this is Terry Foss. So Terri, Foss, Foss. So if you're looking for these, and on the back, it's got Sarah Foss Robinson. So Sarah Foss Robinson. So if you're interested in these cards, that's where you can get them from. Now, oracle cards are generally just little one word or one-liners or something just to give you a little bit of a hint. Generally, when somebody comes and sits with me for a reading, and I'm not channeling or I'm not using medium stuff, sometimes that freaks people out and I close up a bit. I have a little play with cards and that distracts them, and I watch the cards and then they also watch the cards to see what's going on. And when they do that, that's when they're more relaxed, because they've got an output so I can get into them. So that's what we do. And the oracle cards is when somebody is so caught in trauma and anxiety that they don't know where to start. Oh, just a general read. And as soon as I pull an oracle card out, it says, okay, this is what we're looking at. This is what we're going to tackle next. So, and then the reading goes from there. So let's have a look. Whoop, we have a jumper. Rachel. Yeah. Okay. When we start implementing our boundaries, we are not popular. We're not. People will go kicking and screaming. They call us bitches, moles. They start to really attack us so that we go back into their perception of a weaker person, because they don't know how to cope with these boundaries, because they've been able to walk all over us for however long. And now that we've said, hang on a minute, that's not on. And even if you start by, you need to wipe your feet before you walk on me, or you need to take your shoes off before you walk on me, it's still a boundary. And they still need to respect that. And people will struggle. But because I've just picked up on you, I'm going to say spontaneous. So bring some spontaneity back into your life. Start having a bit more fun, okay? You're in a bit of a hamster wheel situation, Groundhog Day, going through the same crap all the time. You putting your boundaries in place will allow you to have more freedom and more time to yourself. You need to take that freedom and more time to yourself. Even if you've got kids, take them down to the swings. If they're old enough to push you on the swings, take turns. Bring some more fun factor into your life, okay? Because you're a real fun person. You're a really fun person. You just need to bring it back into your life a little bit more and yeah, be empowered, loving the path that you're on. Absolutely. There's so much growth that can be achieved by saying no, and we hear things all the time, you get these motivational quotes, just forgive them and love them and move them on their way. I'm not going to advocate that I like that mode, because I loved my husband. And just say, for an example, I would not example, real life. I was beaten by my first partner. He used his hands and other things to hit me. Now, if I give my first partner love and forgive him and send him out into the world with love, is that devaluing the love that I have for my husband? And in my mind, yes. Because I love my husband. He doesn't raise his hands to me. He doesn't yell at me. He doesn't abuse me. He doesn't use derogative terms. He doesn't do anything that the other guy did. So why do I need to love the other guy and forgive him? I don't need to do squat. I just need to not allow him to rent space in my mind anymore. So he doesn't exist. I use him as examples because we need to be able to understand the lessons that I learned and the challenges and the different resources that I used to get through all of that. But that doesn't mean that I don't think about this man other than when I'm doing metaphysics education. I talk about my husband a lot because he shows me how far I've come in my own spiritual growth to attract a lovely person like that. So that's where we're at. Spontaneous. Rachel, you are spontaneous. Bring some spontaneity into your life. Now, I'm going to put these cards to the side and keep going. It won't. It doesn't like to scroll. It hates me. Tazzy says, this is like hearing my life in certain bits. It is. It does. Look, and you know what, Tazzy? She's got down here, taken me many years to get rid of toxic people. You will still come across them. And you'll be smarter. You'll be able to spot them. I've got what I called a bullshit radar. So I can smell bullshit coming a mile away. Now, the smarter I become, and I don't mean smarter academically or that I'm smarter than someone else in terms of intelligence, okay? I'm smarter in understanding who I am and listening to my body reaction and listening to my mind reaction to just different scenarios. So the smarter I become and the more aware of myself I become, the easier it is for me to spot bullshit coming a mile away. There will always be toxic people because we get sent challenges. And if we didn't get sent challenges, we wouldn't get that. You need to come off the path for a little bit, do a little bit of research here, walk up those stairs again, get to the next level. That's what it's all about. But you're right. And, you know, as soon as I jumped on this morning, I thought, I'm not just talking about my story. I'm talking about other people's stories too. And chapters might differ from one from another, but the story is basically the same, you know, and this is how we learn. And this is what, you know, not just women, but people should be empowering themselves and sort of helping each other. Okay. Tanya Dixon. Let's have a look at Tanya. How are we going? Are we right? I like the jumpers the best. Whoop, there we go. I like the jumpers. Oh, look at that. Now, Tanya, I want to build the suspense because I love doing this to people. It's just like my little Netflix. Goddess, mystical. Mystical goddess. Aren't they beautiful cards? I really love them. They've got so much color in them. They're just gorgeous. So what this means. Now, when you're reading cards, do it intuitively, okay? So what I'm going to do is I have a little think about Tanya. Mystical and goddess. So what I'm thinking about Tanya is she's finding her divine feminine on her inside, okay? She's had to work in the masculine for a long time. That doesn't mean she puts on steel cap boots and goes and herds cows or anything, okay? Working in the masculine is bringing home the bacon. So we look at traditional terms of feminine and masculine, and it's doing all the physical stuff, the earth stuff is the masculine, okay? And the feminine is doing all the spiritual stuff. So you're coming more into your spiritual awareness and walking more of your divine feminine path. The mystical stuff is that you haven't even begin to unravel all the cool little gifts and tricks that you can do. And the things that you will do really come from you using divine wisdom. So you're going to start looking at your past lives and bringing them in, the little whispering that you hear. Okay, now they're telling me that, Tanya, you get this funny little frequency noise in your ear, okay? That's the universe tuning in the frequency. So you're going to start feeling, seeing, clairsentient, clairaudient, clairvoyant will be your three clairs straight off the bat. And there's also some writing for you to do as well. So I don't know whether you'll do some automatic writing or whether you need to keep a journal on the things that are going on. But you're working towards your mystical goddess self. This is really cool. These are nice cards for you to get because it's going to, all these cards will be the cards that will flick you on. So if you like spontaneous, you look up the dictionary definition of that, there'll be some sort of trigger point that will go, aha, gotcha. This is what I need to be doing. This is what I'm going to do for now. This is what I'm going to do for a little bit, whatever the case may be. The mystical goddess. Really cool cards. Okay. Tazzy. Thank you for sharing your journey. You know what, Tazzy? I nearly didn't. because why would anyone want to hear horrible stories? We should be all sunshines and rainbows. And I think, you know what? We don't appreciate the sunshine until it rains. And we can't get a rainbow without the rain. So I'm just going to share it. And if people think I'm nuts, that's okay. I know I'm not nuts. Well, I'm nuts, but for all the right nuts, not the bad ones. Taddy would like a card as well. Rachel, they think I'm crazy because I'm loving myself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Next week, I've got a self-love is a topic that we're going to be covering too. So, and what self-love is, because, you know, society has us thinking that self-love is kissing ourselves in the mirror and leaving lipstick marks, and it's not. It's not self-care. Right, Tazzy, here we go. Tazzy's keeping her cards close to her chest. Look at that. Peace. So what Tazzy wants most in her life is peace. Now, this is not some beauty pageant world peace crap, okay? This is actual real life peace, and however that peace looks. If peace for you, Tazzy, means that you're going to go out in the garden and plant flowers, and you leave the flowers in the garden and you don't cut them because you like them, the fact that they start dying as soon as you cut them, and you want them to live, and that's peace for you, that's what you need to be doing. If peace for you is going out shaking a tail feather every Saturday night at the local bar, that's what you should be doing. So bringing that peace into your life. You are, okay. So I've just got a really, really heavy heart. So there's some stuff that you haven't let go of yet, but you are aware of it. You're aware of the, I'm not going to say surface stuff because it feels like that kind of gives you the connotation that you haven't dug deep enough, which you have. But it's kind of like it's there's still more to go. And when you unlock this next layer of stuff, you're going to release a few things underneath it that we've just been lurking and hiding. And the more you do that, now I'm getting your heart opening up. So you've still got a little bit of a heart wall there, still dealing with a few stuff, but you know what, so have I. Big deal. You know what, we're aware of it, and we're taking steps to just sort ourselves out and to help us. So, you know, our personal journeys are not a race or a competition. You can't beat somebody to your personal journey. You can't beat them to the end of your personal path. It doesn't work like that. So Tazzy, peace is what you want to bring into your life, and peace is what you shall have, however that looks for you. Doing crystal bowl healing at the moment. I'm glad. Me too, Tanya. I'm really glad that you tuned in. All right. Paula, I need to move, will I? You know what, Paula, I'm going to be a bit tough with you. And I know that you're going through a rough time, but moving house is not going to move the things that are happening for you, okay? So there's, what I will do is I will email you after this session and give you a lady's name called Brenda. Brenda is an emotion code expert. Now, I know that she might be able to give you some resources that are cost effective within your budget, and just click you on the right direction of where you need to go, okay? Because yours is a very complex situation, and I think that you probably need a little bit of a mix of some psychic support as well as professional support. You're very empathic and you take on everybody's emotions around you. So being able to, and this is not white light stuff, okay? This is actual, real, serious, heavy, making sure that you protect yourself from all the things that are going on around you, because you've got yourself in a bit of a pressure cooker situation, whereas you just keep packing things down and sooner or later they're going to crack. Now, you have mentioned earlier this morning that you feel like you're just giving up. I felt like that. I shared earlier that I felt like just giving up, but there's always something that keeps us going. So for you, it's about finding out what that is and stop putting the hurdles in front of yourself that you put to get yourself to where you need to be, okay? Baby steps all the way. It doesn't, self-help is not an expensive thing. You don't need to go to Thailand and do a monk's retreat, for 3 months to be able to reach that alignment within yourself. There's lots of different things. So it's about listening to our souls, listening to the things that are going on, and understanding what the negative chatter is so we can turn it into the positive chatter, and also understanding where the negative chatter started. Yours started many, many, many years ago, okay? So we just need to tap into that and work out where it is. So I will share Brenda's details with you and see if she can point you in the right direction for cost effective. Just to start with, and then we will go from there. But tune in next week. I'm going to talk about self-love and what that is, okay? Because you're in a bit of a pickle, and I think that you just keep tuning into these sessions and have a look at the other spiritual events that are coming up as well, and see if they can just give you some trigger points, and not so much listen to the words, but listen to how your body is reacting when we're talking about these words. They're your cues from your subconscious, letting you know that that's the direction you need to think about. Absolutely, Tassie. You're doing a really good job too. Really good job. Tanya, I do have a Facebook page. I will pop it in the comments. It is Insights by Johnita. So Insights by Johnita. And I also have a website as well, www.insightbyjohnita.com. And I'll put all those details in the comments section. Toxic people don't like seeing others happy. No, they don't. Isn't that amazing? Good grief. They don't like seeing us being happy at all, because it's you can't, like, I'm pretty sure I channeled so much in my first session, so I'm not sure exactly how I covered. I know I had a bit of a running list of what I needed to cover, but your inner work and your spiritual growth is not something that you can fake, okay? That multi-level marketing users fake it till you make it, and how you manifest material things, and you can do that because you start living as though it's there. But if you've got deep-seated concerns and issues and all those things that I had, you know, the emotional trauma and not post-traumatic stress disorder, something very different, but when you've got emotional blockages and heart wall, it's really hard to, you can't fake your inner growth, your spiritual growth until you make it. You just can't. Your inner child, not stupid. So, you know, Robin Williams, let's have a look at him very briefly. Now, he made me laugh. He was all the time. Every time I would only have to look at his animation face and tears would fill up in my eye, then I'd start to giggle, and that would be it. I'd be gone. So he made millions of people laugh. He was a creative genius. Whether you liked him or not, he had a very magnetic type of personality that, you know, people were just drawn to him, and the way he put things across and what he could do, and he was just fabulous. And then he had this whole inner turmoil going on. Now, he was looking, the external happiness that he gave to others, he was searching for within himself. So even though he wasn't fake, I'm not saying he's fake, but what I'm saying is that work that he could have done on himself while he was helping others to reach their potential and to find their funny bone and to giggle, and the happiness that he brought so many others, had to just dedicate a little bit more time to himself, he might have had a better understanding of where his deep-seated depression came from. You know, it's really, you know, a lot of people, the 27-year-olds, you know how a lot of people die when they're 27 years of age. That's before their Saturn return. The Saturn return is the planet of structures. What's going on in their lives that they have to remove that structure? What is going on for them? It's a phenomenon that is just amazing. It really is, and it's horrible that people pass away as a result. But you have to ask. You know, it's not just 27 years of age. It's all to do with Saturn return. That's Saturn returning in 28 years of age. So pulling down those structures, they think, oh, I can't keep going with these structures. If they just got to 28 years of age, they might have been able to keep going. So it's about understanding yourself and, you know, being kind to yourself. And next week we will talk about self-love and what that is and how that looks. So for today, thank you very, very much for tuning in. I hope I've tick some of your boxes. And I'm Johnita Francis, and you can see me again next week, Tuesday at 9:30. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful week. Bye for now.